Hi, this is Lynn, and welcome to another Persuasion Byte. Bite-sized tips on persuasion that you can use right away. We're going to go in a slightly different direction this week because I've been influenced by things that are going on in my life. The father of a good friend of mine passed away, as did another good friend of mine shortly thereafter. So I've been thinking about death this week. And because it's me, I've also been thinking about neuroscience. And I know that in the 1950s, a Canadian scientist by the name of Donald Hebb came up with a simple and elegant line, which is neurons that fire together, wire together. Meaning when we have an experience and it's closely associated by another experience, then what ends up happening is that our brain connects them both. And when one thing happens, we expect the other will too. And I started thinking about my earliest memory of somebody passing away in my life. And it was my great Uncle Joe. And I remember at the visitation, most of the women in the family were weeping and wailing, particularly my great aunt, whose husband Uncle Joe was. And I began to associate, well, if you really love somebody and they die, you have to cry a lot. And apparently I'm not alone, because existential author Albert Camus, also about the same time in the 1950s, came up with a novel called The Stranger, where the main character doesn't cry at his mother's funeral, and that becomes one of the reasons he's later put on trial. Fortunately for me, this week was different. Both of the memorial services I went to celebrated people's lives. I learned about these men and the impact they had not only on their families, but on their worlds. And then I realized whenever somebody we know is experiencing a loss, we have a tendency to say, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm so sorry is all about us, and your loss is at the end of that. And we're certainly not celebrating anything. And I thought, how can I rewire this for myself and maybe other people? And I've decided it's not to express sorrow that somebody's gone, because that's mine, not yours, but to say, I really appreciate the impact this person had on my life. And here's how he affected me. And it's now my responsibility to carry on the good things that he was in his life, in his memory. And how much more powerful is that, not only for the person who's grieving, but also for us. When you or somebody you know experiences a loss, a death in the family, perhaps it's not so much about naming our feeling and feeling sorry for them, but talking about, and if you don't know, learning about the wonderful contributions this person made, and then making a commitment to yourself and the others who are grieving to carry on, in memory of this person, some of the wonderful things that he or she stood for. I know it won't make you the most persuasive person in the room, but it'll sure make you one who has a great impact on other people around you. Thanks for watching.